Hello, and welcome to Between Thoughts and Being Reflections on Being Human. I am Dr. Jaspreet Soor, a retired physician, a transitions guide, a Reiki practitioner, and storyteller, exploring what it means to live with awareness, intention, and humanity in a complex world. This podcast is a space to slow down together, a space for reflection rather than instruction. Here, we explore the human experience through stories, neuroscience, and gentle inquiry, not to arrive at quick answers, but to leave with better questions. So, wherever you are, take a breath, settle in, and let's begin. Today's episode is titled When Peace Feels Uncomfortable Reflections on Chaos and Stillness. I want to begin today with a small moment, the kind that seems ordinary at first, but stays with you long after it's over. I was standing at a grocery store checkout line, chatting casually with the cashier. Nothing remarkable, just one of those everyday exchanges we barely remember. And then she said something that stopped me completely. She looked around and said, almost casually, I don't like the peace here. For a moment, I thought I had misunderstood. So I asked, do you mean you don't like the slower lifestyle? And she shook her head and replied very clearly, no, I don't like the peace and quiet. I smiled politely, took my groceries, and walked away. But I carried something else with me too, a question. Why does peace feel uncomfortable for some of us? That moment reminded me of a colleague from years ago who once told me she thrived in chaos. At the time, I didn't fully understand what she meant. But over time, I began noticing a pattern. Many people live in constant busyness, tension, or emotional noise, not necessarily because they want to, but because it feels familiar. Chaos can become a kind of home, and strangely, stillness can feel like the intruder. I've come to believe that there are two main reasons for this. The first is familiarity. If someone grows up in environments filled with stress, unpredictability, or emotional intensity, the nervous system learns that this is normal. Quiet doesn't feel peaceful, it feels unfamiliar. I remember a childhood friend who couldn't tolerate silence. Whenever things became calm, she would turn on music or television, anything to fill the space. She once told me silence made her anxious. Drama had become her baseline. So when calm appeared, it didn't feel safe. It felt wrong. The second reason lives in our biology. From a neuroscience perspective, prolonged stress reshapes how the brain functions. The amygdala, our threat detector, becomes more sensitive, while the prefrontal cortex, responsible for regulation and thoughtful decision making, works under constant strain. The body learns to remain alert. Over time, this heightened state becomes the new normal. And here's the irony. When peace finally arrives, the nervous system may not recognize it as safety. Instead, it interprets stillness as the uncertainty. Peace feels unsettling, not because something is wrong, but because the body has forgotten what calm feels like. We also live in a world that celebrates motion, productivity, achievement, hustle. So sitting still can feel like doing nothing. and doing nothing can feel like failure. So, peace is not stagnation. That is our misunderstanding. Peace is presence. It is the space where clarity becomes possible, where you can finally hear your own thoughts without the background noise of urgency. Without peace, life becomes reactive. With peace, life becomes intentional. Learning to feel comfortable with peace is a process. It's like retraining a muscle that's been working in only one direction for years. You don't force stillness all at once, you introduce it gently. A few quiet breaths before beginning your day, moments of mindfulness while walking, writing down reflections after noticing a calm moment instead of rushing past it, and breath work can help regulate the nervous system. Small pauses teach the brain that calm is safe. Over time, peace stops feeling empty and begins to feel nourishing. So, I want to leave you with a question today. When life becomes quiet, what do you notice within yourself? Relief? Restlessness? The urge to fill the silence? And what might that response be telling you about your relationship with chaos and stillness? Thank you for spending this time with me today. And if something in this reflection resonated, I invite you to carry the question with you, gently and without urgency. You can explore more reflections and my work at my website, drsoor.com. Until next time, this is Between Thoughts and Being, a reminder to live with awareness, to meet yourself with compassion, and to find meaning not only in what you think, but in how you are. Take care.